Hi, everybody, and welcome to Diana Focus on Now, a place where dreamers like you accomplish their dreams, feeling more confident and believing in themselves. So, that is super key in order to accomplish your dreams. So, today we're going to talk about something very important because I have recently, in the sense of the past 2 months, been struggling with this. And I wanted to talk to you about this because I feel like not just me is going to go through this. A lot of people go through this. So that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about this. And this is don't depend on others in order to cheer you up. And just a quick disclaimer here is doesn't mean that if people cheer you up, that's wrong, but it just means that you can also cheer yourself up before you depend on others. So depending on others to cheer you up is really bad because when you have a bad day, you're gonna rely on calling others. But if our others are gonna have bad day, then you're gonna even have a worse day. And I'm just gonna explain that further in this video. So stay tuned until the end because I'm gonna have super cool tips at the end to help you guys release all of this. Okay, so don't depend on others in order to cheer you up. Okay, this honestly has been happening to me in the past 2 months. I know this might be really harsh. You're like, whoa, Diana, chill, like what's wrong with you, but it is actually true. And I'm just going to give you an example for you to understand this whole concept. Okay. So if you arrive from work and or school, whatever your situation is, and you arrive from school and you really didn't have a good day because you tripped or you did a bad presentation or you forgot to do your homework or whatever it might be that you just had a bad day, okay? And you're just like, oh my God, what your brain does automatically is that if you have a bad day, if one thing bad happens, then you think that the next thing is going to be bad, and then the next thing is going to be bad, and the next thing is going to be bad. And it's a vicious cycle of bad things happening. That's why when you have a bad day, you automatically suppose it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And so it does, if you think about it like that. That's why it's very important to understand how the brain works and it's just trying to protect you. Being like, oh my God, if I tripped, I'm going to trip the whole day, I'm going to fall again and again and again and again. Like, I'm just a lazy person. Does nothing happen, It's a vicious cycle. That's why I want here to help you break that cycle and cheer you up. So that is the example, right? Now, the next thing they normally do when we have a bad day, one big thing happens that is really bad or negative in your life or in that day itself, you automatically think that's going to get worse and worse, right? And then the next thing that you normally just automatically do is, as a human being, everybody does this, is that you automatically want to call or text somebody. So who are you going to call? Let me know in the comments below. I feel like super Ghostbusters, but it is true. You normally think like, oh my God, it's going to be bad. You want to talk to somebody about this and you just want to you want to, hear those things, right? So who are you going to call? Let me know in the comments below who you normally call your best friend, your mom, your dad, whatever, whoever it might be, right? Yes, you might have friends or, family, like I said, that works for you. When you call them, you're like, yes, that they're going to cheer you up, and that's great. Don't get me wrong, it's really good to have those people to cheer you up, but where here is the channel about you achieving your dreams, and how you're going to achieve those dreams is by doing it yourself. Not other people are going to do your dreams for you, right? And this is really harsh, like super straightforward thing that I want to tell you, because if you want to achieve your dreams, you're not going to rely on other people to achieve it for you. You're not going to rely on others to cheer you up if something fails. If your dream fails, like what that's going to happen is that you're going to rely on other people instead of relying on yourself, right? And that is the key gem that I'm going to tell you guys here. It is very important, because if you have bad days, you call X or Y person, right? This is nice to have somebody to talk to, like I said, and most of the time, what ends up happening, actually happening, and I feel like a lot of people this happens too, and is that you end up being more annoying or more sad, or, if you are angry about, oh my God, I screwed up the presentation, you're just angry, and then you talk to somebody and you're like, oh my God, they don't understand me, you gets yourself more angry, so that's not very helpful in general, right? Then B, you end up bringing up past experience with that person. It's like, oh, but you did this and that went wrong too, so don't blame on me, blah 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 blah, so you bring up over more negative things, like I mentioned before earlier. You bring up more negative things about them instead of them helping you, so you are even bringing more negative energy towards the person that you're talking to, right? So it's a very bad thing, right? um but then you're telling them like, no, you did this, and I'm doing a little bit better, but look, we're the same, blah 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 blah, right? So that's not really helpful situation, right? And then the third one, number C, is to end up being a little relief. For example, if you have a person to go to and you call them, be like, yeah, so this happened, blah 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 blah, right? And you're like, and then they're like, oh yeah, I hope everything's fine, don't worry about it, it's gonna be okay, or whatever it might be. I don't know the situation, but I'm just giving you examples. And you're like, oh, okay, I feel a little bit relieved, but there's still like this like thing that you're just like, I don't know what to do with this, And it's very important to, help yourself, cheer yourself up, right? So this, all the situations that I mentioned, is you end up being more annoying or sad. You end up bringing past experience from that person, that they did this super negative thing. So that's going to bring you more negative things into your day, right? Because we're talking about this day specifically, if you had a bad day. And then or maybe you end up a little bit relieved, but you're still like, that kind of like tense situation. So that's not very helpful if you talk to somebody, okay? So this is wrong, because it's not really helping you at all, because you're just like, I still feel tense, like I don't know what to do. And this is what you're gonna do. I'm gonna have all the tips for you're gonna do at the end of the video, so stay tuned until at the end of the video. So if you want to call or text somebody, one of your friends or family, to explain this bad day to them, one, that you want to hear what you want to hear. So why are you calling them? This is the reason. Well, there's 3 reasons why you want to call them or text them, whatever it might be. One, because you want them to say what you want them to say. All right. So for example, it's like, no, you're the best, like, don't worry about it, nothing's gonna happen. You want to hear those things in order for you to be like, oh, okay, that's gonna happen, even though that's not maybe true, but you just want to hear those words coming out of somebody else's to reaffirm you. Be like, oh yes, I know. I know those things, right? So that's the first thing. That's the first reason why you might want to call somebody, right? The second reason why, if you want to try to make an opinion or suggestion about it. For example, if they say like, oh no, this just happens once, don't worry about it, blah, 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 you want to hear their opinions or suggestions about the situation. And this is a good thing to give a little bit of perspective of the situation itself, right? But it may be offensive about it. For example, not a lot of people, I mean, all depends on who your friends are, blah, 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 blah. But not a lot of people get to talk like you want them to talk. That's the first one. And the other one is like, everybody has their own opinion, and then some opinions might hurt you even more about the situation that you might have. So that's going to be even worse if you talk about them up top. So let me just be clear, okay? So you talk about that you fell down before going to work. So that means that you're just negative thoughts all around, blah, 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 right? And then what you end up wanting is that, you end up wanting more bad situations coming if you don't really want to, but you actually attract them, right? And then that happens when you want to talk to people, you get more annoyed or more sad. You bring up past experience about those persons, negative past experience about those persons. You end up being a little relieved. You're like, oh, okay, I feel a little bit better, but not really. But the reasons why you want to call them is because you want to hear what you want to hear. You want to get their opinion or suggestions, even though you might get even hurt if you get those opinions, because they're their opinions about the situations, not your opinions about the situation, right? And then you might say, like, you don't understand me. You don't understand me. And then that might hurt some people's feelings, that might hurt some people's feelings. But that's not even going to help you go through those feelings that you're feeling right now if you have a bad day, right? So nobody understands you better than yourself. Just going to repeat that one more time. No one understands you better than yourself. And this is super key when we're talking about don't depend on others to cheer you up, because you know yourself. You know what you like, you don't like, get to know yourself a little bit more. If you don't, I'm probably going to do another video about this too later. But just remind yourself that you know yourself, okay? You know yourself, you know how you react to bad or good situations, right? So this is very important to understand who you are and understand how you react to those things, right? So bringing back to the point that you're the only one that can cheer yourself up. Like I said, if somebody cheers you up and that helps, awesome. But what I am saying is that you know yourself better than your mom or your dad or, whoever it may be, right? So that's super key. So don't worry. You're like, okay, if I should, cheer myself up, how do I cheer myself up? I feel like I say chill, but it's cheer. So how do you cheer yourself up? You're like, I don't know how to do that. Like, you're telling me to do that, but I don't know how to do that. Don't worry, I got you, right? I'm going to give you 3 tools that I personally use that has helped a lot of people too with the same situations, having a bad day or just, not knowing what to do, is these 3 things, okay? First one is to journal or write down what you feel this instant. And I know some people are just like, I don't want to journal. That's just weird. If you don't want to journal, don't journal. Like, that's totally fine. I'm not going to force you, but just write a piece of paper and a pen. Write the things that you're feeling right now. I feel angry because blah, 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 blah. She did this and this and this and this, or he did this and this and this. And it makes me feel blah, 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 blah. It can be 1 page. I actually written like 10 pages about one situation. And when you're done writing all of your feelings, your thoughts, you're like, but what happened if this happened? Write all of it down, okay? All of it. Don't skip any parts. If you think like, oh, I was missing this, then write it down, okay? When you finish writing all of it, then it might take like 10 minutes. You can pause this video if you want or whatever it may be. The sub part of this is to reread it. Oh my God, this has been super challenging because if you're angry, you're just, you know, or just like, you're just crying. You're like, I can't really read this again. Like, I'm just done with this. You know, just try to breathe a little bit and reread it, okay? Read it a couple of times. If one time is enough and you're just like, I really want to like not read it for a little bit and then read it again, like take breaks if you want to between reading them. That's totally fine, but just reread it at least once. The whole thing as you've written it down, you know, that you felt this, blah, 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 the whole situation, okay? When you read it again, then you read it with another perspective because you are already giving all your emotions to the paper. You're giving all their emotions, you're releasing all those emotions, the fear, the sadness, the anger, the happiness even, into the paper. That's why it's very important to journal. And if you don't like journaling, just write it down. I mean, it's technically the same thing. So if you don't like the word journaling, that's totally fine with me. Okay, so when you reread it with a different perspective. You're like, okay, you know, a little bit more calm now because I've read it, you know, I've written down all my emotions to the paper. You know, take a deep breath, a couple deep breaths, take a 5-minute walk around like your bedroom or whatever it may be, and read it again, okay? Once you read it again, take 5 deep breaths, inhale for 10 seconds and exhale for 10 seconds. That's a deep breath in general. I'm not a meditation guru at all, but just a super basic rule, okay? So just take deep breaths. If you want, you can play super like meditation music or super chill music, but put music, if you put music that does not have lyrics. So just pure music, no lyrics, no songs that have lyrics or, you know the song or whatever. Just pure music so you can literally just release all that, okay? Once you've done that, that is step number 1, I guess. Or I mean, you can do it any order you want. The second thing you can do is go take a walk or go for a coffee or for a tea. For example, if this happened at work or in a classroom, in a class that you are in, you're like, oh, and then just write it down, like you're writing notes, so that's totally fine. It's not like you're getting distracted or whatever. Just write those things, right? Like I said, read them again. And if you can't do that right now for XY reason, you can say like, hey, I'm gonna go for a walk and I'll be back, right? 5-10-minute breaks from work will not kill you. Just another side note here. This happened to me because I'm like, oh, I don't want to go outside because I'm gonna lose, 15 minutes of the work that I need to get done today. Just take 5-minute breaks. That's totally fine. Nobody will kill you for that, okay? So please do that. It's super mental health here. Okay, so go get a coffee, and when you get a coffee, just think of all the things that I'm gonna list on the third one, okay? Just think about them. When you think about it, just think about it, process it, and then calm yourself a little bit more, okay? So the second one is go take a coffee, go take a walk, go grab some coffee and drink it by yourself, right? Just by yourself. That's why I said cheer you up by yourself, right? Go take a coffee or take a tea. I have my tea here. Go take a tea and just breathe, write it down, or the other one that I'm going to explain in a bit. And then the third one is, oh my God, that was so scary. Sorry. And then the third one. And the third one is, what is the fear that I'm feeling right now? This is a big one if you don't know where to start or whatever it might be. just write what is the fear that I'm feeling right now? What is the fear? The real core fear. I'm feeling fear of, getting fired, or I'm feeling that I'm not gonna get that diploma, or I'm feeling, what is the big fear? The big one, the core one. I don't know, whatever, whatever you think about it. The core one that you're feeling right now. Okay, that you can, like I said, you can write it down. You can think about it when you walk, whatever it might be, works for you. Okay, write it down. Please do write it down. I like to write it down just because you're releasing all of that. If you think about it, you're going to think about it even more, and then you're going to create more negative things. Okay, that's why it's important to write it down, or just do like a voice note on your phone, or thinking about like, yeah, so this happened and this happened and this happened, and I'm feeling fear right now because of this and this, just say it out loud. In a, you should probably not say it in the coffee shop, but whatever works for you. Write it down. And then the next question is, why do I have this fear? Why do I have this fear of blank, getting fired, or having this fear of whatever it might be of the situation? Like I said, it all depends on the situation. So why do you have this fear, right? And the third question is this fear, sorry, is this fear real or fake? I'm just gonna take a bit of water. Is this fear real or fake? Like, you might be like, oh, okay, so I did like one mistake at work, a small mistake at work, and oh my God, I'm gonna get fired. So that's kind of like the biggest fear. You're just worried, you wrote it down and everything, right? But then you're thinking like, why do I have this fear? Does it, like, because I did one mistake? Is it my first mistake? Is it my 50th mistake? Really get down to it and get to the root of why you're feeling this fear, and then identify that fear. If you're feeling fear of getting fired, how do you think that fear is real? Because you've done so many mistakes. Or is this fear fake because you done just one mistake? This is your first mistake. Okay. So identify that fear and then identify it. Understand that fear and then identify the fear, if that's real or fake. And then with these tools, you feel so much better. And guess what? You did it yourself. And that is the key here that I wanted to give you guys, is do not depend on others to cheer you up in a bad day, because you can do these steps on your own. Like, nobody needs to be there for you, like be next to you in order for you to do this. You can do this at your own time, take a break, whatever it might be, and do it yourself. Then a pro tip that I personally have done in the past like month-ish, is that hug yourself. I hug myself like this or like this, like hug yourself and say, I am worth achieving my dreams. You can close your eyes and hug yourself and be like, I am worthy of achieving my dreams. I am worthy to achieving my dreams. And try this every day. And let me know in the comments how you feel, okay? You can do this right now, even if you finish all of this steps. Just let me know how it went, okay? On the comments, I read them. I can help you with anything else. So just remember here, there are new YouTubes every Monday and Friday. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any other further videos. And like I said, hug yourself. You're worth it. And everybody has bad days, but you need to understand that you need to cheer yourself up, okay? You can, after this, you can be like, okay, I need a friend to talk to, because X, Y reason. you can totally do it. But just I highly recommend to do this first, so you have the routine of doing it yourself, so you don't depend on others to do it for you. Okay, so that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, and any comments, any questions, I will read all the comments that you guys have. And hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more about these topics. We're going to talk about motivation, relationships, mindset, how to achieve your goals, and all those things in between. So give you hugs. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.